Hi, happy Wednesday. Today I have a story for you called Caterpillars and Butterflies. This is another informational text about butterflies, and I'm going to review some text features with you as I read to you some more information about butterflies. This book goes a little bit deeper than the one that I showed you during science yesterday, and it shows you some more details about some of the stages. So starting off right away as you open up this book, you'll see a table of contents. Boys and girls, do you remember what a table of contents is? You find it at the beginning of the book, and it tells you what you're going to read about in the book. All of these things listed here are section headings. They're going to tell you the name of the section that you're going to read about. So for example, on page 3, you're going to read the section called Amazing Insects. Well, here's page 3, and here's the heading, Amazing Insects. So the headings on different pages is what makes up the table of contents. Butterflies are flying insects with beautiful wings. They begin life as caterpillars. This is a peacock butterfly. The spots on its wings look like the marks on a peacock's tail. Now this is a very rare butterfly. I've never seen one like this, but it's called a peacock butterfly. Notice how butterflies are symmetrical. So you have the middle, right? Whatever you see on this side, you also see on this side. So see how you see this little mark here, and there's a little mark there, and this is over here, and this is over here. So they're completely symmetrical. Tiny eggs. Butterflies lay eggs on leaves and twigs. The eggs are sticky, so they don't fall off. Now this is another close-up, as is this, okay? And these little eggs are like a yellow color. This is a really interesting fact. Some butterflies lay more than 1,000 eggs in just a few weeks. This is really neat. Some of the books that we've read, we kind of call them cool facts. Sometimes there is a sidebar or a different little box that has something information that is related to this. So after you read your text, it's always good to read what's in those boxes. Many eggs have a thick, rough covering. A caterpillar is growing inside each egg. They will be ready to hatch in a few days. Butterfly eggs come in different shapes. Some eggs look like round pearls. Other eggs are long and thin. And a few hang like beads on a string. Now, boys and girls, eggs like this are kind of, I think, a little more common, and I've actually seen leaves that have had eggs like this on them. I think these and these are a little bit more common that you might see. The next section is called Hatching Out. This is our heading. A caterpillar bites a hole in its egg and wiggles out. This cabbage white caterpillar is hatching. You can see other tiny caterpillars still inside of the egg. This is like almost a clear, transparent egg, and you could see, this is the dark head, you could see inside of the egg. Isn't that cool? This is another great close-up. First, a caterpillar eats its egg. This gives it energy, so it eats the eggshell. It is still hungry, so it eats the leaf the egg was on. Remember that a lot of caterpillars will lay eggs on what's called a host plant, a plant that the caterpillar can eat. Then it moves on to eat more leaves from the same plant. Here's one of those cool facts. Caterpillars have strong jaws. They can munch through a leaf in seconds. Next section, lots of legs. All caterpillars have 16 legs. So right now you might be thinking, but Mrs. Van Lanningham, you told me insects have only 6 legs. Do you know why it's okay for a caterpillar to have 16? It's because it's not an adult yet. Okay, the adult insects have 6 legs. This is an emperor gum moth caterpillar. The front 6 legs are stiff and pointed for grabbing food, and the other legs are fatter and they have suckers for clinging onto stalks and twigs. Really interesting. Some caterpillars move along in big loops. The front part of the body stretches out, then the back part lifts up, and then it moves to meet the front part. Kind of wiggles. The next section we're going to read about is called big eaters. Caterpillars eat all the time. Remember, their job is to eat and grow and eat and grow. They find a plant they like and they eat until it's all gone. These caterpillars are called large whites. They only like to eat cabbage leaves. And you could see there's a whole bunch of them. There's a reflection. Just like when we were at school, there was always that reflection. See them? This is a cabbage leaf. Caterpillars soon grow so fat that their skin is too tight and starts to split. They wiggle out of the old skin. Underneath is a new stretchy skin. Boys and girls, do you remember what that is called? It begins with an M. Molting. This swallowtail caterpillar has a brand new skin and it leaves the old skin behind. This is really an important fact. Most caterpillars change their skin 4 times. Each time the patterns are more interesting. Watch as I show you pictures of ours changing. See if you can notice how they look differently. Okay, time to change. Soon caterpillars are ready to turn into butterflies. First, a caterpillar finds a safe, sheltered place. It hangs upside down using hooks on its body. It makes that button, and it hangs in a J shape. Can you see how this is like a J? Here's the head. Its skin splits and falls off, and underneath is a new skin. The skin gets harder and harder until it is like a case. And boys and girls, that is a chrysalis, that case, okay? So this stage is called the pupa. A pupa hangs without moving for weeks. Inside, a butterfly is growing. So ours is going to be in a pupa for about 10 days, 7 to 10 days. Again, it kind of depends on temperature and all different kinds of things. A new body. When butterflies are fully grown, they are ready to break out of their pupa. You can see this butterfly's wings inside of its pupa. And like I mentioned in our science video yesterday, you're going to be able to see a little bit of color in our chrysalis, but not nearly as much as this. Like this almost looks clear. A butterfly slowly pushes itself out of its pupa, and then it stops to rest. Its wings are pale, damp, and crumpled. And sometimes kids might see that and say, it's stuck, it's stuck. No, it's just resting. This is a really big thing that's happening. Butterflies have to let their wings dry out before they can fly. This monarch butterfly must wait a few hours for its wings to spread out and get stiffer. Butterflies don't grow after they've hatched. They actually stay that same size all their life. Up and away. Boys and girls, did you notice that I'm reading the headings? That's important for you to do. Butterflies are always moving around. They never stay still for long. All butterflies have 4 big wide wings. And remember, We drew those wings, right? They have the top set and then they have the bottom set. And they flap all four wings together. The wings are covered in tiny scales. You can see them under a microscope. So that's a big close-up. Some butterflies flap their wings 70 times every second. This is really interesting and very important. The section is called feeding. Butterflies and moths feed on juices from flowers or fruit. Instead of a mouth, they have a long, thin tube called a proboscis. They drink through it like a straw. The proboscis is usually curled up, and it uncurls when the butterfly drinks. Boys and girls, kind of think of like a party favor. The party blowers that they kind of roll out and back in. That's kind of what this is like, believe it or not. Now, when our butterflies start hatching, I will have them in that net that I showed you, and I will be putting flowers in there for them to eat. So this is the antenna. See how it's kind of got that thing on the end? But this long thing is actually its proboscis. It's this opened up. And it uses it like a straw to drink the nectar, and then it curls up when it's done. So that long thing is a proboscis. This is the antenna, and the other antenna is right there. Isn't that cool? Sometimes when butterflies are thirsty, they will suck up drops of water from the damp ground. Boys and girls, at the end of this book, there is a glossary. A glossary is a place where you can find some of the words in this book and tell you what they mean. Now, this glossary also has a picture. So let's say that we wanted to learn more about this proboscis. Okay, there's a picture of it. A proboscis is a butterfly's long tongue used for drinking liquids. So sometimes in nonfiction text, you will see a boldface word or an important science word. Those would be the words that you would find in a glossary. And that is in the back of the book. It's usually the very, very last page after you read. It's a reference, okay? There's one more really great text feature that we haven't talked a lot about in the last week or two. It's the index. Do you remember what an index is? Take a look. This is even behind the glossary. This is like the very last page. So if you see hatching, 6, 7, do you know what that 6 and 7 is? You would be correct if you said the 6 and 7 are the pages that you can find hatching on. So if you knew exactly what you wanted to find, if you knew that I want to learn more about how they hatch, you would go to the index and you would look for the word hatching, and then you would go to that page. So let's go to page 6 and 7, and that's the section that we read called Hatching Out. And this shows you what happens when they're hatching out. So the index can be a really, really useful place to look if you want to just find something specific. So let's say you were wondering, gosh, are there any poisonous butterflies out there? You could go to the index. You would see poisonous butterflies, page 26, 27, and you would know what pages to look at in this book. So an index can be very helpful if you're looking for something specific. Okay? I hope you learn even more about caterpillars and butterflies as you become butterfly experts. And I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you remembered some of the text features that we've been talking about and that we learned about in school. They help you learn, find more information in a nonfiction book. Thank you for listening, boys and girls. I hope you're having a fantastic day. See you next time.